Some of you have been asking questions, and my mind right now is a little muddled. What do we answer people when they really attack the tenets of the faith? And if I had been thinking clearly, what I would have said to you is, tell them that what they are teaching has been long ago condemned by the church.
See, it's, again, nothing is new. The same thing that people are denying today has been denied 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago. The question, did Mary have more children? It would seem in Scripture that there were brothers and sisters. That's an old one. She did not, our church teaches, she did not have more children. We initially said that in the Jewish language, the Hebrew language, they did not have words for cousins. When they referred to Elizabeth, it was not Elizabeth your cousin, it was Elizabeth your kinswoman. They used the word brother and sister in place of cousin very often. And Peny shared with a lady just today, it is law, the Hebrew law, that when a parent dies, or when a child dies, the mother goes to the next oldest child, and that next oldest child takes care of the mother. If there were other brothers or sisters, Mary would have had to been handed over to another brother or sister at the crucifixion. Mary was handed over to John. There were no other children.
And this we have believed from the very beginning. You know, the Immaculate Conception. We have believed from the very beginning. But the reason that, which Pope was it, honey? Pope Pius IX, was it?
The reason
that he came out with the encyclical.
That he came out with the dogma. With, I think it was Pope Pius IX in 1854. Came out with the dogma of the Immaculate Conception.
Dogma. And this was one of the, I think it was only the second time that he used papal infallibility. Papal infallibility was for this. But the reason he did it is because we had another heresy going on.
It was that old heresy back again, pantheism.
And it's the heresy of today.
The one of the Garden of Eden was cropping up very strongly in the 18th and 19th century. Very strong. You are God. There is no personal God. You are God. And by the Immaculate Conception, what our Pope and what the Lord through the Pope was saying, that in this world, only two people were born without sin. Jesus, who is God, and Mary, the Mother of God. And the Immaculate Conception was his way of giving Mary that honor, but also telling us to set the record straight. Now, for the 4 years after that dogma came out, all hell broke loose. Catholics
just like they're doing now, right?
Catholics and Protestants alike. How could they dare give this honor to a woman? Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like Lucifer? Does that sound like
it to
Satan?
me.
How dare they? That's why he said, I will not serve.
She was the problem.
Way back at the fall of the angels, it was because he was going to have to serve a woman? That a woman was going to be queen of the angels? I will not serve. So then in the 19th century, they gave this honor to a woman. How dare they give this honor to a woman? And for 4 years, all hell broke loose in the Catholic Church until February the 11th, 1858.
A little girl had a vision, an apparition, and the Mother of God came to help her son. She came to help her church. And she proclaimed to a little girl who didn't even know what she was saying.
She was illiterate, an illiterate little girl.
And she said, I am the Immaculate Conception.
And the little girl ran. She took this. She had been asking her for weeks, please tell me who you are. And Bernadette ran to her priest and said, I am the Immaculate Conception. And he said, what? He said, that's who she is. That's what she told me. I am the Immaculate Conception. And the priest said, do you know what that means? She said, no. And that's what made him believe, and that's what made the world believe.
No. But Our Lady had appeared before that. You see, Our Lady doesn't mind coming over and over again. We mothers don't mind, huh? You tell your children something once, they don't listen, you try and tell them a different way. But boy, don't we have a lot of patience? We just keep singing the same old story.
Keep coming back.
Well, the Blessed Mother just keeps singing the same old story. She never gives up on us. When she came to the New World, we had lost 6 million Catholics in Europe. 6 million of her babies, of her children, had been suckered away from her church. The church that bled from the side of Jesus. That's what we believe, by the way. See, this church that we belong to came forth from the wounds of Jesus. When the centurion lanced his side, the church flowed out. That's pain, people. That's from Jesus' heart. We believe scientifically today that the tip of his heart was pierced. The church comes from Jesus' own heart. She came to the New World. What I fear most of all is that as we are losing our brothers and sisters here, that she'll go to another New World.
She'll go to Africa.
That she is appearing there.
You see, our Lord said, the gates of hell will not prevail against my church. The church will triumph. Jesus will triumph. It's scriptural. We know the end of the story. We know what's going to happen, but we don't know that whole nations will not be lost. We lost Europe. 6 million people in Europe were lost to the faith because of Martin Luther. She came to the New World, picked up 8 million.
8 million.
Picked up 2.
In 7 years. Unheard of Pentecost. Pentecost every single day. Unheard of in the church. Up to that time and up to today. Unheard of in the church. That's the power of your mother. That's the power that Jesus gives his mother. She brought 8 million children here. Why did she go there? You've got to understand why mother comes. She doesn't come for the kicks of it, right?
She doesn't say, well, let's see, I got nothing to do this week.
Let's take a trip to Earth.
Here, let me go there. And we used to really believe, and I think we wrote in our book, The Many Faces of Mary, that she goes to Jesus and said, Jesus, please let me go down and talk to them. We believe that, and now we believe it's just the reverse. He says, you better get down there. You better talk to those people. I'm going to hurt them if you don't go down there.
I'm getting tired. I'm getting real tired.
And in La Salette, she said to the 2 children, my arms are so tired, I'm trying to hold him back. I can't hold his arms anymore. He is so angry. And what
she was
he
crying.
At that point, she was angry because they were desecrating the Mass. They were not making holy the Lord's day. Could you picture how angry he is today?
Okay. Mother Mary came, and we know by the symbol that she wears, she came with child. Did you know that?
To Mexico.
To Mexico. She wears that little bow, and that's the symbol of a woman who is with child to the Aztec people. She came with child. But she also came to, number 1, stop the innocent slaughtering, the slaughtering of innocent children. Now, the Indians would sacrifice to a bloodthirsty god. I want you to start thinking about some of these expressions. A bloodthirsty god. Do we have any bloodthirsty gods today? Think about it. And so they would sacrifice innocent children on that altar. Does that sound horrible? How dare we say it sounds horrible? We do worse. And so these children at least walked the earth, and they were treated very specially. Okay? Just like the cows who are gods in India. That's another religion they want to put on you guys and call it Catholic. They treat those cows very special too. Anyway, these kids are treated really special, and then the time comes and they go up.
Send them up to the mountain.
And they take their heart out while they're still alive. Imagine how that wounded Jesus and Mary to see these innocent babies sacrificed that way. So she came and she opened the way for the Franciscans. And because of her, and because a humble little peasant, uneducated convert, converts,
Convert. The power of the converts.
Because of that, and you know what this little convert did? Very simple. He served the church the rest of his life, which was 3 years. And he was the sacristan, the caretaker of the little chapel, because she wanted a temple, they call it in Spanish, but a chapel built, and they built it for her.
And that little chapel's still there, just squeezed in between two of the big basilicas.
And so this little Indian, you know, he'd be sweeping the floor. And these Indians wanted to find out about this goddess.
This goddess who came and she defeated the sun god and the moon god and all the Aztec gods.
They wanted to know about this, see? And isn't that why most of us go to all these places? You hear so-and-so's having an apparition. Everybody runs. And then somebody over here, whoa, I'm going to the latest apparition.
Then they go.
But see, God works through it. God works through it. We can do the most idiotic things on earth, and God works through it.
So as these people are running to this little temple, this little chapel, to find out about this goddess who was here last week or the week before or last year, this little Indian sweeping the floor, his name is Juan Diego. And he doesn't tell them it wasn't me. He says
never says it's him.
There was this Indian, and this lady came to the Indian. He tells them the whole story about Our Lady coming and the tilma coming alive, the image.
He shows him the tilma.
The image of the goddess, and you see the tilmas right in back of them, and they can touch it in those days. And they're running to the priests, running to the priests. So they go to Juan Diego. From Juan Diego, they went to the priest. It was like an assembly line. 8 million people in 7 years were converted.
And the archpriest, when we interviewed him, said that the conversion was practically done by an Indian's retelling
it was a done
of a
deal
story.
Before they ever left that little chapel.
All he had to do, all the priest had to do, was give him final instructions, and they were ready to come into the church. A simple little Indian.
This year we're going to be doing a conference at the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, 2-day conference before in conjunction with our pilgrimage. And we're going to have this archpriest. He's going to share with us.
Blow you away.
He will share with us the ongoing miracle of Our Lady of Guadalupe, because the miracle has never ended. It has never ceased. She is active in that church with those people today. Just one instance he shared with us. In Mexico, they have a great instance of alcoholism. It's a deadly disease. It's rampant all over the country, as it is in this country.
It's a plague.
But they have, at the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe, they have a commitment that men, they call them probably men and women, but he talks about men, they go there every week and they commit and recommit not to drink to Our Lady of Guadalupe. And they keep their commitment, because to break that would be a terrible thing for them, because they're committing to their mother. To their mother.
You see, when a child is born, they don't baptize their children right away. Maybe they'll wait a month. But the minute the child is born, they bring the child.
As soon as the mother is out of the hospital or whatever, to introduce the mother to child to your mother. And that is their mother. And so they grow up their whole life knowing this is their mother.
That's it. Very simple.
The Virgin of Guadalupe is the mother. So when they make this commitment not to drink,
it's to their mother.
It's very serious. Now, there are times they have this kind of relationship with it when it's Christmas time or it's a birthday or something.
And they want to break it, right?
They want to know, they want to be able to have some drinks. So they go to Our Lady and they say, okay, for the next week I'm going to drink and then I'm going to go back on it again, and they do it. Now, he said the success rate of Alcoholics Anonymous, he said, was 40%. We have a young priest in Louisiana who's an alcoholic. He's part of AA, and he says it's more like 22%. 22% success rate, Alcoholics Anonymous. Our Lady of Guadalupe's success rate is 80%. 80% today. Every week they go there, they commit, 80% success rate. So the miracle is ongoing. It doesn't stop.
When Our Lady came, how did she come? You know, there's a lot of links with Our Lady of Guadalupe and the United States. See, I don't know if you're thinking about why she's coming here with the pilgrimage and the pilgrimage image. I don't know if you're thinking about it, but we do a lot of thinking. Our writers are just natural thinkers, you know. When she came on the feast day of the Immaculate Conception, December the 9th. In
those days, it was celebrated on December the 9th, not December the 8th. So the day she appeared to Juan Diego was actually her feast day, and he was on his way into the Cathedral of Mexico to celebrate Mass in honor of the feast of Our Lady's Immaculate Conception.
So that must be pretty important, wouldn't you think? Okay, so she comes on the feast day of the Immaculate Conception. She appears to Juan Diego's uncle and heals him, and she identifies herself as
the Immaculate Conception.
The Immaculate Conception. Boy, pretty important. Who are we consecrated to in the United States? Pieces starting to come together.
And where was Mexico in those days? Remember, you're not talking about south of the Rio Grande. You're talking about all of California, most of Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas. Big part of what is today the United States
was Mexico. Okay. Now we know she came because she wanted to stop the innocent slaughter, the slaughtering of innocent babies, right? We all agreed about that? Let me tell you something else. She came because they were on the eve of Holocaust. The Indians were going to wipe out every Spaniard, every European in Mexico. And they had the ability to do it.
They had the means and the method, and the plan was in action. It was ready to go when Our Lady came to stop more carnage. And what did she come to do there? She came to stop the Holocaust, and she came to make family.
That's what she did.
To bring two cultures together, something we in the United States have not been successful in doing. Through the intercession of Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Mexican people have been successful in assimilating two races, the Indians and the Spaniards, to form one people, the Mexican people.
And after Our Lady formed them into one people, one culture, I got a shock for you. They became one of the most powerful nations in the world. You didn't know that, did you?
A little sleepy south of the border, Mexico.
They were one of the most advanced cultures in the world. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. They passed a new constitution in the early 20th century.
They went against
God and His church.
And Our Lady.
And what you see in Mexico today is the result of that. What has God in store for us? Let me tell you, He doesn't care about your house. Sorry. He doesn't care about your car, and He doesn't care about your clothes. He doesn't care if you have steak every night.
He's not even that excited about your body.
He loves your body. He created it.
Cares about your soul.
Your soul.
I mean, look at little Bernadette. She suffered all her life. St. Teresa, the little flower, died at 24 years old. She suffered. He cares more about your soul than he does about your body.
And if you listen and you read your history, you know he can be tough, right? He can be tough. Now, Mother Mary doesn't have a tough bone in her body.
She's a piece of cake.
She is the perennial mother, you know? Did any of you get brought